Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today I'm looking at Court Martial from the original series' first season, or as I like to call it, that time someone called Kirk out for his bullshit. This episode was requested by John Chalmers and G.A. Pratt, so thank you both for the suggestion, and let's get going. We begin the episode with a hole in the ship and a dead crew member, so they stop by Starbase 11 for repairs. This guy Stone says they can't afford to lose people like Finney, who died, and his daughter, in her Sailor Moon cosplay, yells at Kirk and calls him a murderer, so Spock takes her away. Stone tells Kirk the computer logs don't match his story and gives him detention pending a hearing and possibly a court-martial, and into the credits we go. Everyone is cold towards Kirk because the dead guy was a friend, and after he splits, this fashion choice walks in to talk to McCoy, an exes of Kirk's called Ariel. Stone questions Kirk, who says him and Finney used to be friends until Kirk had to relieve him because of a mistake, which prevented him from getting promoted. Stone asks what happened, and Kirk explains that Finney, who was top of the duty roster, was sent into a pod to do readings, but they hit trouble and Finney didn't get out in time. But Stone is more worried that Kirk seems to be lying, but Kirk calls it a mistake on the computer's part. Stone says Kirk could be reported to be exhausted so he can avoid being the first captain to stand trial, but Kirk doesn't want that option and the pair get into an argument. Kirk goes to talk to Ariel and chats her up. Whoa, there's a lot going on with this glass! And she exposits that she's a lawyer and gives him a hint as how to win his case, and points him in the direction of another lawyer, because she's the prosecution. Isn't that a major conflict of interest? This guy and his weird suit has moved in with Kirk and brought all of his books with him, and we're rolling straight into the trial. Kirk pleads not guilty and Spock is called up, who says the computer did not malfunction. However, it is wrong because Kirk wouldn't do what he was accused of doing, and Sam doesn't want to question him. This personnel lady only says things we already know, and it's now McCoy's turn, who confirms that Finney could have hated Kirk, and I'm pretty sure Ariel's leading the witness, so I'm surprised no one's objecting. Sam calls Kirk up to the stand, who recalls what happened, but says he didn't hate the guy.
Lieutenant Commander Finney was a member of my crew, and that's exactly the way he was treated.
And he says he's been in a crisis many times before, so why would he panic in this case? Ariel plays a video of the bridge when the event went down, and it clearly shows that Kirk jettisoned the pod before the emergency.
But that's not the way it happened.
Sam thinks that Kirk may have had a lapse in concentration, and even Kirk is having doubts. But Jamie comes in and says she doesn't blame him, he must have been tired. And Spock proves a point to McCoy about computers by impossibly beating it at chess multiple times. It's back to court where Spock and McCoy rush in and whisper to Sam, who rants off on one to the bench, and wants to reconvene the trial on Enterprise, which the judge agrees to. And Spock explains that in order for him to win at a chess program he himself created, someone would have had to have tampered with the computer, and the only people capable of doing so are Spock, Kirk, and Finney. Sam puts it to the court that Finney is not in fact dead, and most of the crew is evacuated so they can scan the ship for sounds, and it picks up heartbeats which McCoy mutes one by one, leaving one remaining.
Finney.
Kirk goes looking for him and he taunts Kirk, clearly bitter over what happened. And this guy is giving me very Willem Dafoe vibes. Finney has sabotaged the ship because he thinks he should have been captain, and he's clearly snapped. So Kirk tells him Jamie is on board, and the pair get into an obvious stunt double fight, with Kirk coming out on top, and he's able to repair the sabotaged engines. The case is thrown out and Kirk gets a kiss as a reward.
She's a very good lawyer.
Obviously. Indeed she is.
I was worried about this one, as courtroom dramas are difficult to make into a script, but this turned out okay. I mean, it was laughable that Kirk's ex-girlfriend was allowed to be the prosecution, but it was an interesting story, and Kirk's belief in his own actions was admirable, and with such damning evidence against him, there had to be a twist like Finney wasn't really dead, but the story unfolded nicely, without too much time spent in the courtroom. I liked Sam's character and his portrayal, and his speech in the courtroom, having sat mostly silent, was very well done. The story also makes you think, as many people today are condemned based off of evidence that could have been falsified or tampered with, and you would never know. And this episode doesn't shy away from it. It's sad that Finney took things so personally, and it's a good job Kirk doesn't have to face trial every time there's a death, because a lot of red shirts bite the dust. So there you have it. That was Court Martial. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.